Manhood Neat podcast. Mr. Dwat, Christmas is over. New Year's is just around the corner. I guess technically Christmas is not over, as I specifically told you last night. We haven't reached Epiphany yet, but Christmas
That's
Day
right.
is coming past. But how you doing today?
Man, I'm doing great. Christmas was good. I was able to take some time off from work, and that was nice. And we're here. Most of our family is here, and so it was overall it was good. It was a good Christmas.
Now, did you complete the challenge that I gave you?
The Midwestern goodbye.
Yes.
Not really. Not really. No, it just never came to where like I was somewhere else with a jacket. You know what I mean? Like it just never got there. So I don't know.
Yeah. Excuses.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So, but you had a good Christmas though. Did you get all the toys you wanted?
Yeah, I did. I got some shirts. I got some bourbon, which is nice. So yeah, it was good.
Good deal.
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't, the stuff that I wanted, I just bought myself before Christmas. So it's kind of a guarantee. No, I mean, I told the wife, like, don't really get me anything, because, I was putting some money in that KLX I was redoing. And so that's like, that'd be my Christmas present, but it was good. Kanan loved his mini bike. He about killed my dog. He was so excited. He ran right over top of him. There's a video. It's out there. If you know, you know. But yeah, it was good. And so got to help kind of get him riding and got to build Jordan's desk that she got. So that was always, it's a fun way to spend your Christmas. Just IKEA furniture put together. And yeah, it was good. Our oldest was in town and yeah, it was good. It was good.
Yeah, I know y'all love having her in town. So.
Yep. So because this is the special end of the year extravaganza mini episode, we're not going to do our standard have a bourbon and review it. I wanted to kind of throw a curveball out there. So my question is, what is your favorite whiskey or whiskey adjacent beverage that you had this year that we did not review together?
All right, so I got two because they were
you can't
both
follow orders. Yeah.
I know. I can't. It's kind of like an album full of greatest hits. It just doesn't work because for it to be the greatest, there can only be one, right? So I understand that I didn't read the question fully, and the teacher's probably going to mark me on my grade, but there were two bottles that really stuck out to me this year that you and I didn't try together. So the first one I've actually kind of been not telling you about because I was hoping we could get together in person and review it, and which we still can, but I just don't know if you know that it exists. So shocker to most of our listeners, but it's an ASW product, Fiddler, and the name of it is Syncopation.
So I'm looking at that bottle. I better get down there quick if I'm going to taste it with you.
Well, yeah, but there's plenty in here, and let me tell you why. So this is made with Bloody Butcher corn, which is an heirloom corn that I guess is only grown in like Appalachia. Are you familiar with Bloody Butcher?
Yeah, actually, the Neely distillery we went to, they had a variety there that was made with Bloody Butcher corn that I had. It was pretty good.
Yeah, and if you Google it, I mean, it goes back to 1845, which is kind of cool. And if you Google a picture of it, the corn is purple. And so typically when they distill with Bloody Butcher, it's got a lot of sugar in it, and so it makes the proof go up. Want to take a stab at the proof on this?
Is it hazmat?
It is hazmat.
Ooh, let's go 153.6.
Yeah, you are 10.6 proof points off. It's 143.
Okay.
So yeah, it's very good. Actually got some for me for our anniversary this year when we were up at the battery up at ASW. So the other cool thing is because it's 51% corn, but it's also 100% malted corn. It is both a bourbon and a single malt.
Oh, wow. Fancy.
Yeah. So yeah, super cool. Got some of that hanging out. And then the other one that I had that I really, really enjoyed, it's called Kings County. It's out of New York, which is kind of weird. You wouldn't think that good juice could come out of New York, but this is fantastic. You see how dark it is.
Yeah.
It's 67.3% alcohol. So that puts it at 134.6. 4 years old, at least 4 years old. These have batch numbers on them. I was able to find this batch, and it is a 5, 6, and 7 year blended together, and they use different size casks. So the juice tastes different based on the different size like barrels it goes into. This one's not open because I've already opened one and finished one. It's really good.
All
So
right.
those are my two standouts this year that you and I didn't drink together, but we will drink together.
I got you. So the one I went with, and it's probably not my favorite. We didn't drink together, but it's probably it's the first one that I had this year for the first time, if that makes sense, right?
Okay.
Yeah. That kind of stuck out. And so it is actually Benjamin Richards double chocolate.
Okay.
Oh, you can't look to the
yeah, it's in the hay.
It's in the hay. Yeah. Maybe I put it in front of me.
There we go. Okay.
There we go. So but it's produced in Kelso, Tennessee. It's just 90 proof. But it's not like don't think of like a chocolate syrup flavor like you get in a lot of flavored whiskeys. I would have. You've had some cigars. You know how there's like a difference between infused cigars and flavored cigars?
Oh yeah.
I'd kind of say that's how this is. And so you don't really, you get it's bourbon up front, but you get the like the cacao, like just raw chocolate taste, just a little bit on the finish, just a little bit. It's not overpowering. Like you got to kind of search for it. But it's good. So I actually had this, and they had just a regular double barreled, basically I think it's the same blend, but it's just been double barreled instead of the double chocolate, whatever. And I actually like this better, even though it's half the price. But
really,
yeah. And so if you find it and you're getting ready to go to your New Year's Eve party, and you're like, you know what, I want to take something a little different. If you can find it, you get it. And then here's a trick. So I'm actually gonna make myself one now. So you put in your ounce and a half of this, and then
that's an ounce and a half. Good night.
Yeah, that's a small glass. See, you can't even see it.
Yeah,
and
it's
then,
in the corn.
Yeah, that's right. And then I take the some of these Evan Williams bourbon black cherries, and you just take 2 of them cherries and drop it in there. Let it sit for about 5 minutes, and it's a chocolate covered cherry bourbon drink.
Did you make those cherries, or do you buy those cherries?
I got those for Christmas from my oldest.
Nice.
But you could
make them though, right?
You could if you just bought regular maraschino cherries and then just dumped out half the juice that's in it and put bourbon in it and close it up, put it in the refrigerator for a week, you'd have them made. So, but with the cherries, like I actually just eat the cherries straight a lot, because what they taste like is if you make an old fashioned, when you finish the drink and you eat the cherry at the very end, it's like already to that point is what it tastes like. So
gotcha.
But yeah, so that is my hold on. That's my oddity for the year. I just thought it's nice to have something that's way different, that's not gross.
Right.
A la the salted caramel, right? So
yeah, gross.
Yeah.
Hey, that winter Jack got gone.
Oh, did you throw it away?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And several people came over, and they saw the Jim Beam Winners Reserve sitting out, and then they saw the salted caramel, and I was like, hey, you take that salted caramel with you now. And everybody's like, yeah, I'll get it. And it's still sitting behind me.
It ain't taste it?
No, I'm just giving it to them for free.
No, but nobody like just drank even a pour of it?
No, they all wanted to drink my fancy stuff, which is I'm completely fine with. Like, I was excited to share like bourbon with some folks who had come over. Not one person was like, yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, whatever.
So the store here in town, he set up a big table, and he's got 20% off all the behind the glass stuff. Christmas is over. He's got a lot of inventory because he bought it for Christmas. So he's like, 20. Yep. So guess what's sitting right in the middle of it? The golden apple.
Gross.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. After we talked about that, I went to a store out of town and saw like a full like Crown Royal like lineup. I saw the golden apple, There's another one that's
Black
super
cherry or something
old,
like
like
that. Yeah.
black. Yeah, I saw them all. I couldn't believe it. One of them was $700
Stupid.
for some Crown
Yeah,
Royal.
Crown Royal. So what is
Now, granted, he's 35 years old, but still, like, come on.
well, did you see the Woodford that came out and it was like the glass it was in was special? It was like $1,000.
That's the Baccarat, I think is what
Yes.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen that in person before. I've
So
seen it
he had two
out in the
bottles.
wild.
He had two bottles at the store and he sold them both.
What do you want for 'em?
It was like $1,099.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen them out for $2,000. That's wild. And
Yeah.
apparently the juice isn't even that great.
No.
Like it's older Woodford, but it ain't like that great.
No, it's you're literally paying for the crystal or the glass or whatever. So
Yeah,
it's
you're
kind of
paying
cool.
for the decanter.
Yeah, because in the box it comes corked, but then there's also a matching glass, so you can
Yep.
just turn it into a decanter. But it's a decanter that forever says Woodford on it.
Yeah, that's true. Man, if it only had like a pistol cork stopper, you know?
Yeah, but if you got that, probably somebody would break it. So, all right.
Oh man, that's great. And I told you this before we started, but to be fair to the listener, I am drinking something completely different. Not drinking either one of the two whiskeys that I enjoyed this year. I'm actually drinking Bardstown wheated bourbon. It's a 6-year-old wheated bourbon, and it's 106 proof, and it is fantastic.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Oh, yeah. They had that in the store. I'll have to pick up a bottle.
Yeah, grab it. It's really good. Like it's my soon to be nephew got it for me for Christmas. Thought I was gonna have to hug his neck in front of everybody. I was so excited. It's so good, dude.
So, have you opened the barrel, this year's barrel? Bourbon?
No, I haven't opened it. You talking about what Ashley got me for Christmas?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a barrel New Year 2024. It's like it's actually really cool. It's like 12 different, it's a blend, and it's 12 different barrels, I guess, they've gotten from all over the country, from Maryland to New York to Wyoming to Colorado to Tennessee. I mean, it's just everywhere. And then they blended it together. And some of it's old, like there's a 15-year-old Tennessee barrel in there, which is going to be Dickel. But no, I haven't opened it yet. I'm thinking about maybe opening it on New Year's Eve. I think it'd be appropriate.
There you go.
Yeah,
Sounds
I'm
like fun.
excited. I like barrel. They do good.
Yep. All right. Well, we're going to shift gears here. Move into some actual questions that matter, not just drinks. So this year, what is one time or one area that you clearly saw God move in your life or your family or something like that?
So it was for me earlier in the year. The kind of devotion that I listen to every morning has gone through the book of Exodus. And the one that really, really stuck out to me was Exodus 3:11. It's Moses, and I'm going to read it, but Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" And the idea that the thing that really, really stuck with me is at this point, like we're on holy ground. You know what I mean? Like our shoes are off, like Moses is talking to God, right? And God's telling him, like, I'm going to send you to Pharaoh. You're going to bring my people out. And Moses, again says, "Who am I?" And that really, really, really struck me and has really stuck with me these last like 4 or 5 months, because, who am I is the same question, but it can kind of be asked 3 different ways, right? So the first one is like, who am I? Kind of like, why it's absurd that you would ask me, it's like, I'm unqualified, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, like whatever the describing word is that, you kind of internally argue with yourself, right? I can't believe you would ask me, I'm out, call somebody else, right? The second one is kind of the implausible. It's like God sees something in me that I don't see. And it's like, it's almost like this, is there a cape in my closet because he thinks I'm a superhero that I don't know about, and then the third way is kind of the humble consideration, is like, I'm clearly not qualified, but God has called me, and that really, really stuck with me because it kind of like, and I've heard a friend of mine describe like real faith, and it moves from a no to a maybe to a yes. And that really, like, I feel like really kind of has pushed my faith between like going from maybe to yes, you know? So I hope that makes sense to you, but it's really something that, like, it's really just kind of been like working on me. And, as we, I don't know, trying to figure out some church stuff and some, we've got like Ashley's got some kind of cool job stuff. Like, it's like, why me? Who am I? But then I come back to that, and it just, I don't know, man. It's just been really good for me. It's really, really, I can feel the Lord like working in my life, and it kind of makes me want to step out more. And that's so against who I am in the long run, So
Yep. Okay.
yeah,
It's kind of funny. Because you and I did not discuss this at all before this, other than
yep,
what the question was going to be, but we didn't know each other's answers. So my answer is that I had is God literally saying, "Why not you?" Okay, and what I mean by that though is the opposite. And like, so Liz and I, we've had a lot of. It's been we kind of go in cycles with the year or where our years go, and this has been one of our very expensive hospital years, just with Liz with her, tearing a rotator cuff and her
yep,
other stuff that she's got. And so that, and then my teeth all just deciding to like pop crowns off at the same time. That was fantastic. But
yeah,
but anyway, so that's one thing. And there's been some other stuff too, kind of like the church thing is like, why can we not build the community we had? Why can we not do this? Why do we
yeah,
have to go through this? And it was kind of funny is like Liz and I, we are so different, which is why we get along so great. But when we approach a situation with the same like immediate thought process, we kind of know like, okay, this is just like in the Bible when a verse repeats or a thing repeats throughout the Bible, it's because God's
right,
putting emphasis on it. It's kind of the same thing. If I've got a notion and she gets the exact same notion off the rip, okay, that's God being like, this isn't you guys, this is me, because we just different frames of reference to the way we think.
yeah,
But it was basically like, I was like, this sucks. Why do we have to do this? Like, why can't we get a retaining wall fixed? Why can't we, all this kind of stuff? And then like the guy was like, why not you? Like, why should you not? Why can't it has to be somebody else that has to suffer for me? Like, I have things I want you to do, and this suffering is going to be part of it, And now there's a reason for it. I don't know and we haven't got there yet. But it's very much of God being like almost like it might be because we were praying to be humble, and God's like, okay, I'll humble you, right? So, but yeah, and so it's kind of like that is like why not? And so and then but then through that, once you embrace the suck, right? You start seeing how God is there in every other aspect, right? I mean, he's in there in those aspects too, but he's there like, you're like, oh, like I never noticed, like it was always me that provided the paycheck. No, it's God, right? And so like you
right,
start seeing things like
yeah,
that, or just different areas. But it's been basically like, why would you not? Like I told you in the Bible, you're going to suffer for me. So why not? Why would you expect not to? Why are you complaining when you do? But then when you do start being like, okay, like God's got a reason for this, and you start looking, it's like, oh, God is everywhere in this. Like he's showing up in every aspect.
yeah,
And so that's kind of, yeah, kind of where we're at is that's what he's really kind of been boom, like opening our eyes to and moving. So it's been good. Like I wouldn't
yeah,
trade it. So
yeah. It's exciting too because you just, it really makes you be faithful. Like it's easy to talk about faith, but when you're in that position, like it really does, and you have to be faithful in all things.
yeah, yep,
Yeah, it really kind of stretches you a little bit.
yep, yep. So that is that. You got anything else you want to add before we move on to the next question here?
No, I just think it's awesome that I don't know, it's the Lord working in both of our lives, like we essentially have the same words just with different like inferences on the syllables, and like I don't know, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, yeah. So and then what is one area of pruning God is currently working on in you?
So again, it kind of comes back to this thing from Exodus, but it's my friend's comment, real faith moves from no to maybe to yes. and I'm not trying to make a stretch here, but my first answer in a lot of things is no. And that's just because of how I am. I'm just like being by myself, and I don't like, I'm a homebody. And so I'm really trying to be better about saying no and being more open to things, and that's whether that's like traveling or, like Cami, my oldest, she'll be 17 in January, and at some point, like she's got to go and like try and figure some stuff out because, like mom and dad aren't always going to be there. So I'm really trying to work from my no's to be maybes and really just be more faithful in kind of all things. Um, and so I think that's going to require me to be a little bit more surrendered to God, you know, um, and not lean so much on my own understanding, and really just truly trust in the Lord with all my heart a little bit more than I probably do. Um, yeah, so I think that's kind of where I'm at on, where I feel like the Lord's maybe kind of pruning the bush, as you will.
Yeah. So for me, it is to be a lot better at being the hands and feet and not trying to be the mouth of Christ.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Like,
Yeah.
um,
Because I mean, you're a pretty opinionated fellow, aren't you?
not a little bit, but getting out, and I don't know, it's just that putting as much effort into actually living out the Christian life, like in the community and those around me, as I put into wanting to have the theological zingers, like when I talk with my church friends, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Um, and so, I mean, part of that goes back to the being humbled thing, right? And so,
Yeah.
but to be the hands and the feet as I'm called to be in the midst of where I am, and it's okay that not everything's perfect, that I've got everything figured out in order to go do it. Um, one area, I guess, like Liz and I, when we got this house, we were like, hey, we want this house to be like a place of like refuge for people, a place that people can go, a place that people want it. Like when they go, they feel at ease, and and it's a place of rest and rejuvenation and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so, and we kind of felt like God, they had it. And then I was like, oh crap, we got to get the roof redone. We got to get the retaining wall fixed. We got to get the ugly blue carpet out and hardwood put in so it's nice. So people, we got to get new furniture. And then God, we can, if you just give us the money to do that, then we can start being a hospitable home. And then, and God's saying, no, like, I don't want people coming there because they're seeking you and your stuff. Like, I want people to come because there's a peace there that they don't feel otherwise, and it's an opportunity to share the gospel with them, right? And so there's just that, and then just I've kind of mentioned, but like just my heart slowly changing in that just because there's people who are, well, we call them Methodists around here, but on drugs or whatever, but there's still people that God loves and wants us to reach, and not just to shake my head and be like those idiots,
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's kind of the pruning on me, is to be much more active in my faith as opposed to just thinking my faith.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I got.
That's good, man.
Yeah, I don't know. Pruning sucks, but it leads to new growth, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I always think about like a rose bush. Like you really have to trim a rose bush back. But and if you don't have experience in that, you're thinking to yourself like, I'm gonna kill this stinking bush. But you don't, it grows back bigger and better and beautiful. And like I always think about that, like when the Lord like is working in my life, or if someone comes to me and is like, hey, I don't understand what's going on. I try to use that analogy because I think it works in a lot of ways, just because it does suck. Like it sucks starting over. It sucks like having to say no when all these other people are saying yes, and it sucks to when you're in professional or public setting and somebody says, hey, why don't you do this thing? And you have to go, well, they're going to find out I'm one of those weird people again, and you have to kind of speak up and answer for your convictions or whatever it might be. And so, yeah, it's not fun, but in the end, like, there's going to be growth and it's going to be beautiful. And, the Lord is working in that obedience. Right. So I get it.
Yep. So, well, I got 2 other questions for you. They're not nearly as important.
Sorry, because I got a question for you, sir.
Okay, well, you go first.
Okay. All right. So, and I wanted to do this one last time when we were together, but we held off because we want to focus on Advent. But can you give me your top 3 favorite non-church Christmas songs?
Non-church Christmas songs?
Yeah, so it can't be now. It can be like a Christmas carol, but let's say Frank Sinatra sang it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So,
I've got my list. Do you want me to go first? I'll give you a chance to think.
Yeah, because I know the song. I have to look up the official title though.
Okay. All right. I'll go first. In no particular order. My first one is Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys.
Little Saint Nick by the Beach Boys?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that song. All right. Number 2 is a late 90s, early 2000s SNL skit. You'll have to look it up on YouTube. It's called I Wish It Was Christmas Today. This is when Jimmy Fallon was still on SNL. And it's just 4 guys like up there singing this kind of like little rinky-dink Christmas song. And it is hilarious. So it's called I Wish It Was Christmas Today. Look it up on YouTube. I think it's hilarious. And then my third one is Merry Christmas Babe by Otis Redding.
Okay. All right. Classic. Yeah. So mine.
Can't go wrong with Otis.
No. Mine, again, no particular order. So first one is Tis the Season by Dropkick Murphys.
Okay. Awesome.
Yep. My second one, I don't know, is it? You have to let me know if this is too churchy, because if it is, I can scratch it and replace it. But my second one is Little Drummer Boy by Jars of Clay.
No, I'm good with that.
Okay.
I thought you were going to say David Bowie.
No,
but I like Jars of Clay too.
Yeah.
Jars of Clay is a bunch of like. Have you followed up with those guys? They've all like deconstructed. It's wild.
Oh, all of them? That's sad.
Like, I say all of them. I know the lead singer has.
Yeah. Well, their guitarist, their lead guitarist, I can't remember his name. But he, like, back when their heyday, was considered like one of the like greatest guitarists of like out there. So
yeah, I love some Jars of Clay.
Yep. My second one is, or this would be my third one, I guess. Yeah. My third one is Hark the Herald Angels Sings, but by Bad Religion.
That's awesome, dude. I thought you were going to say Megadeth, which would have been Bad Religion school too. That's great, man. Yeah, I love like when I was like looking, I downloaded this like kind of off meta Christmas playlist, and this is kind of what drew this inspiration. And one of the songs that I didn't even know this band recorded a Christmas song, but it was done in like '79, was like the Grateful Dead. So I love it, man. That's awesome. I didn't know Bad Religion recorded a Christmas song.
Oh no, they have a whole Christmas album. Like I've got it on vinyl. Yeah, dude.
Oh, that's awesome, dude. I'll have to look that up on Apple Music.
So yeah, it's good stuff.
That's great.
All right, so my first question for you is, give me who you think will be in the college football playoffs game. Not who you want, but the final two.
Final two, I think it's going to be Georgia and Oregon.
Georgia and Oregon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Oregon's got a tough road to hoe, but I think they'll be fine. I think Georgia, it's going to be Georgia. I think Georgia beats Notre Dame like 31-17. Penn State will beat Boise State. It'll be Georgia, Penn State, and Miami. Georgia will beat Penn State because they're posers. And then I think Oregon just mops everybody that they play.
Let's see. So I gotta make sure mine are right then, because if you got Oregon plays, the winner of Oregon Ohio State plays Texas Arizona State. All right. So if Ohio State plays Oregon and Texas plays Arizona State, and the winner of those two games play each other, correct?
Yeah, I think Arizona State's going to give Texas everything they can handle. I think Kenny Pickett is he's the real deal. I like listening to him, man, because he's young and he's hungry and he's full of piss and vinegar. If you need to bleep that out, go ahead. I guess it wouldn't be the first one, but
No.
I really like Kenny Pickett, and so I think Texas beats ASU in a nail biter, maybe some OT. I think that let's see.
See, I think Ohio State's going to beat Oregon.
Really?
Yeah, just because Oregon has had a pretty easy season since Ohio State. Ohio State, I feel, is got fire behind them. I think Oregon is kind of is going to come out a little lax. I think Ohio State's offense is better than they were the first time they played them, and I don't think Oregon's defense is going to be able to. I mean, they hardly contained them last time. I don't think they're going to contain them. And I hate saying this because I hate Ohio State, but just this is my prediction, not my wants. But I think that it's going to be Ohio State in Georgia, and I think Ohio State's going to win overall.
Yeah, I hate Ohio State. I hate Ryan Day. I hate that he uses just for men. I hate everything about it.
Yeah.
On the bottom half of the bracket, we got Georgia, Notre Dame. I think Georgia beats them. I'm a homer. Go Dogs. And then Boise, Penn State. Who you got? I think Penn State beats Boise State.
Yeah, I do
even
too.
though Ashton Genty should have won the Heisman.
Yeah, I think that Penn State's going to win. I mean, it's just Power 5, right? And so, now the flip side of this is if I could choose a winner of it, I would choose Boise State, just because I love chaos.
Yeah, and there's a thing that James Franklin, the head coach at Penn State, there's a thing where they believe he can't win the big game. He's kind of like Ryan Day. When you put him in the big game, they just choke.
Well, he hasn't won one yet.
That's true. That's what I'm saying. There's memes and stuff. So,
all right. And then my last question for you, way more important than that one. Did you watch the Pinstripe Bowl?
You talking about the Nebraska Huskers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did watch. I watched the tail end of it.
So do you think...
I was in Macon at the big house.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we did a big house. That's where the Allman Brothers lived, right? So we went and did that. It's like a museum now. So we went and did that. And then I watched the tail end of it.
So my only question is, do you think... Because, Kentucky's number one receiver just jumped ship and he's going to Nebraska.
Yeah.
And not that Oklahoma was good, but their best linebacker jumped ship and went to Nebraska.
Yeah.
Do you think, or over under, Nebraska has 8 wins next year?
Yeah, I think so.
Over or under, or right at?
Over.
Okay.
No, I'm over. I'm 9.
9. Okay.
If I can take 8, I'll take 8. But
they actually have a very easy schedule next year too. So
they do. Their schedule's easy, and I've said this on other episodes. But I love Matt Rule. I think if again they can give Matt Rule time, he's got the quarterback, he's got the system.
Yeah,
they just got to give him a little time.
And he's got a way better offensive coordinator going into next year with Dana Holgorsen. So
yeah.
I
think they win 8-9 games next year. The problem they're going to have is keeping Dylan Raiola from going to the NFL.
Yeah, after 2 years though.
I guess he has to play 3 years, doesn't he?
He's got to be 3 years removed from high school, and he didn't redshirt. So, but. Yeah, that's it. I guess last thing before we leave, do you have a firearm purchase that you are hoping to make next year?
Well, it's firearm adjacent. It's an accessory. I'd really like to get a Hollow Sun enclosed emitter red dot.
For?
I'm hoping that the state will buy it for me.
Oh, got you. Okay.
For my work pistol.
I got you.
If not, I'm going to have to buy either an MOS slide or just buy an MOS. But I really like the Hollow Sun. I think the Trijicon, the Delta
Point Pro.
This Trijicon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think initially those were wonderful. There's obviously some issues when water gets on the glass, it makes the emitter kind of project funny.
Yep.
I really like the hollow suns with the closed emitter. I think they're a little bit more rugged. And I think in the end, it would probably suit a boots on the ground patrolman a little bit more than the Trijicon. I think the Trijicon was a nice, like, first generation, but now we've got these closed emitters, man. I just think that's the way. Is that a Romeo? Is that a SIG?
That's a Delta Point. It's a SIG, but it's a Delta Point Pro on it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that the state buys me one. But if they don't, that's what I would get. Yeah.
So I'll probably, I got a lot of fire, but not going to happen. But I'll go with an accessory too, since the way you went. I would really like next year to go ahead and do all the paperwork and crap and get a suppressor for the AR, just so I can shoot in the backyard and not annoy my neighbors.
Yeah, and the trick to that is to put it in a trust.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. That way, like Liz, Kanan, like any of your family can shoot it, and they can travel with it. Of course, they have to have the papers with them, but as long as they're in the trust, and then when you go to see Jesus and your kids are grown, it just stays in the trust because they're already in the trust.
Or if I have a disciple who's the last Christian in the world, I can just have him in the trust too, right?
That's true. That's true. But he's going to be too busy watching Glory.
No, it's Fury.
Fury.
Yeah. Have you watched that yet?
Civil War movie.
Yeah. Have you watched Fury yet?
No. It's on our list of things to watch.
All right. So next year, when you guys come up here to go hiking, after we hike all day and our legs are sore, we will pour some bourbon and we will watch Fury with the surround sound cranked up.
Can we drink syncopation while we do it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll start it. I mean, that's not enough for a whole movie.
Yeah, this is 71.5% alcohol, bro.
Yeah,
this is all it's gonna
you got like an ounce and a half in there.
Yeah, there's more than an ounce and a half.
Yeah, maybe. So, all right, man. Sounds good. Well, if you want to close with some prayer, and then we'll wish our guys a happy new year and move on.
Yeah, well, and I guess before I pray, like, just say thank you to everybody who listens. Thank you to you for inviting me. This has been a very awesome year. We started in January, so it's been a lot of fun. I look forward to our time together. It's no secret that we play Xbox a couple times a week together. But I love this time together. It's awesome. I love seeing how the Lord just made us uniquely different. Go back and listen to the 5 Things episode. If you want a good chuckle, you'll see how different Aaron and I's thought process is. But even in answering this question, like, we're different, but we're the same. And it's just testament to this God's benevolence and how good he is, and just how, he's just weaving things together that we just can't even begin to see. So, again, thank you to you, Aaron, and then thank you to all of our listeners. It's super cool that we have people that are interested in hearing what we got to say. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Just same thing. I totally forgot. We're getting close to a 1-year anniversary since you came on board. But yeah, thanks for listeners for another year. Hopefully you've gleaned something worthwhile out of this. And if you want to reach out, there's always manhood.neat@gmail.com. I haven't thrown the plug in a while, but we're on the socials at manhoodneat. But yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. We like questions. We like criticism. We just, we just thank you for listening and wish you and your families the best. So we'll close in prayer and get on out of here.
Yep. Father, thank you. Thank you for today. Thank you for our time together. Father, thank you for your son, Jesus, who is the reason why we come together and we were able to talk about just the life that he led, and the just kind of the surrounding, I guess, people and things that we really just try to emulate in our lives. Father, just thank you for our listeners. Thank you for our families. Just pray that we would, any kind of change or any kind of pruning that we feel that you are working on, Father, I just pray that not only we, but also our listeners would be obedient to that, Father, and that you would show up big and loud, and that they would know that they're dealing with the creator of the universe. So again, we thank you for today, and thank you for these things. And we ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Happy New Year's, guys. And we'll catch you in a few weeks back to our regularly scheduled programs on the Manhood Neat podcast. So I'll be on finals later, but you really should download Black Ops 6.
I'm too old.
Do it.